there is a specter haunting Star Rail. The Spectre of Gallagher. It's known by many names. The Bennett of HSR, Star Rail Swiss Army Knife, the Meta Toppler, the Free-to-Play Savior, the Firefly Carrier, the Archer Crutch, the Poor Man's Woe, the Rich Man's Luocha, the People's Champion, Galachad, Galagoat. They all refer to maybe not just a singular character, but rather a concept. An idea of true justice. A future where us humble laborers of the world can finally rise up and stand united against the great tide of power creep and HP inflation. The tide, which we're told, can only be halted by swiping to get the new limited 5-star. The promise of a noble equalizer in our greatest times of need. A character that can allow us to finally no longer be scoffed at for our uncleared MOCs and 2-starred pure fictions by the whale overlords. Because Gallagher is like a fine brew. My friends, it's time to indulge ourselves. I'm sick of Gallagher. I try to play Bailu, my Gallagher heals more. I try to play Lingsha, my Gallagher gives more SP. I try to play Luocha, my Gallagher heals more and gives more SP. I want to play Firefly, her best team has Gallagher. I want to play Acheron, Robin. They both want Gallagher. He grabs me by the throat. I farm for him. I salvage. I give him self-modeling resin. He isn't satisfied. I craft a piece. I don't need this much break effect, he tells me. Give me more speed. He grabs every 4-star healer and throws them to irrelevancy. You just need to give me quid pro quo. I can give more energy than whoa. I can't pull for quid pro quo. I have skill issue. He grabs my account to clear MOC. It fails. Guess this is the end. He grabs Pridwin. He says, Pridwin, get them. Nothing but pure, cruel data sheets of just how much he is the Swiss Army of HSR. What a cruel world. Oh, and did I mention that he's a 4-star? Every patch is a Gallagher buff. Each time a new character is released, be it an attack scaling hypercarry, a break unit, or whatever the heck we have going on in the newest patch, Gallagher gets stronger. There's always a new tech, always a new playstyle, always a way that Gallagher somehow becomes a best-in-slot contender for the best team in the game. If I had a quarter for every time a new relic set was released that accidentally made Gallagher a crit buffing Harmony unit, I'd have 2 quarters. Which isn't a lot, but yeah, you get the idea. Speaking of quarters, I'd like to have a moment of silence for the poor intern that designed Gallagher, who sacrificed his job and frankly, probably was killed, because they legitimately cost Hoyo millions of dollars. Gallagher was released in the 2.1 patch, appearing as a raid-up character in both the Acheron and Firefly banners, as though these weren't promoted enough already. By the way, for reference, the previous 4-star that Hoyo released was Misha. So while Huoho obviously was pulling out all the stops to incentivize pulling for Acheron and Firefly, this would actually end up completely backfiring on them, because unbeknownst to them at the time, and almost certainly on accident, they had made that 4-star unit the single most prized, well-designed unit in the game. If you wanted the oh-so-vied after E6 Gallagher at the time, and you were astronomically unlucky, it very well might have meant having to drain your bank balance. But that wouldn't be the case if you used our sponsor, LDShop. Gacha games are an expensive hobby. But with LDShop, they don't have to be. LDShop is a safe and reliable game top-up site created by LD Player Emulator, which offers unbeatable prices for Wineric shards and other in-game purchases in Honkai Star Rail, as well as Genshin Impact, Wuthering Waves, and other games. If you use the affiliate link below, you'll receive a 15 and 5% off coupon, which can save you up to $50 in Honkai Star Rail purchases. All you need is your server and game ID to top up, and if you spend over 80 USD in 1 month at LDShop, you'll get a free supply pass. Thank you to LDShop for sponsoring this video, and be sure to check them out using the link in the pinned comment and description. Much like a gentle breeze on a kind summer day, or the sound of children laughing as they play in the park, we've really come to take for granted Gallagher's presence. Or more concretely, just how freaking insane his kit is. Let's play a game. Here are 4 facts about E6 Gallagher. 3 of them are true, and 1 of them is a lie. You need to pick out the lie. No cheating by looking it up. Okay, here goes. Gallagher has 100% action advance after ulting, and can generate a skill point afterwards with his enhanced basic, meaning a basic, ult, enhanced basic combo can potentially generate 2 skill points and 32 energy for the team with quid pro quo, a like cone you can get for free in the MOC store. In 4+ target scenarios, Gallagher has higher healing output than Luocha, a 5-star unit. Gallagher is tied for the 8th lowest energy cost ultimate out of all 74 current characters, excluding those with a 0 cost ult. Gallagher has an innate 78% effect res without any effect res substats. Locked your answer in? Well, I appreciate you playing along, but I lied. They're all correct! I only made you go through that superfluous guessing game to point out just how unbelievably cracked this 4-star character is. Gallagher is the definition of a jack of all trades. He heals, he cleanses, he tears through toughness bars, he generates way more energy than you'd think, he can buff your DPS, he generates skill points like an absolute maniac. The only thing he can't do is deal a ton of damage. Or can he? Frankly, this kit would absolutely be worth pulling for if they were a 5-star, which is precisely why we'll probably never get another 4-star character, and absolutely not nearly as strong as Gallagher. To show you what I mean, here is a graph of the 4-star characters in Star Rail and their usage rate for the 3.3 Memory of Chaos. At the bottom we have all of the characters who were basically never good, but as you move up, we have some who had their brief and underwhelming times in the sun, but obviously fell off like crazy. Remember when people were hyped about Yukong being a possible best in slot for Finon? Anyways, you go up and you have units who actually were quite strong at some point, and even some who you'd think would be passable in the current meta, but just don't have the multipliers to keep up. Go even higher and you have characters who may be niche, but have established themselves as actual contenders for team slots in contemporary meta compositions. This includes the most recently released 4-star, Mose, who's seen substantial advancements in tech that made him far stronger than what people thought at release. At the very top, head and shoulders above all of the other 4-stars, is Tingyun, whose energy and damage buffs have allowed her to maintain a relevant presence in the meta. That is, she would be at the top if it weren't for Gallagher eclipsing her and every other 4-star character by a country mile. For reference, these are all the characters who are actually able to clear MOC, and here are the ones that can actually do it in a reasonable amount of cycles. In patch 2.5, the new 5-star Abundance character Lingsha was released, and when you look at Lingsha and Gallagher side by side, things get a little problematic. Okay, this is a sore spot for a ton of people, and I get that. Let's get some things straight. Lingsha is and was a great unit. She contributes a huge amount of damage, healing, and cleanse, making her the best in slot for break teams, and if not best in slot, then definitely a viable side grade for many other teams. However, it's also completely fair to say that Gallagher and Lingsha fill very similar roles in that they're both fire abundance units who scale off break effect and have huge amounts of utility. In the head-to-head, you have Lingsha as a definitive winner for personal damage. She contributes more DPS and toughness reduction, with even more room for improvement and different setups. And if you really wanted to, you can run DPS Lingsha with either Luocha or Hyacinth's Light Cone. Same with cleanse potential, as while she doesn't exactly have on-demand cleanse in the same way that Gallagher does, hers is much more frequent and accessible. In terms of overall versatility, it goes to Gallagher. He is a completely viable sustain for just about every single team composition due to his energy regen, skill point generation, and general reliability. Sure, Lingsha is the clear winner for break comps, and I do have her slightly ahead of Gallagher for the Herta and Fei Xiao teams. But Gallagher remains a passable side grade for Archer, Anaxa, Acheron, Castorus, and many more comps in a way that Lingsha's kit doesn't quite have the flexibility for. Longevity also goes to Gallagher, as he's still finding himself in top contention for basically every new character since his release. All this to say, so many people, myself included, thought Lingsha just wasn't worth pulling in 2.5 because at the end of the day, any comp you would run Lingsha in, you could also reasonably run Gallagher. Will it be as good? Maybe, maybe not, but it'll still likely be good enough. And do you want to know what I like from a unit a lot more than having strong break damage and high toughness reduction? Being free. So it's not an exaggeration at all to say that Gallagher existing in that state quite literally costed Hoyo millions of dollars worth of lost revenue from sustained banners. You can debate about which one is better all day, and at this point both sides are so utterly convinced that they're right and the other side is completely insane. But that's just the thing though. The fact that there even exists a debate shows just how ridiculous Gallagher is. This is a 4-star unit, so does it even need to be said? Well, of course it does. If you've watched any of my recent videos, you'll know that there's no avoiding it. So let it be known, Gallagher is, quite literally, the Tim Duncan of Honkai Star Rail. Just like the big fundamental himself, Gallagher boasts a nigh unrivaled level of versatility and longevity. His game may be simple. You may not see the flashiness that we've come to expect from so many other contemporary units, but what you are guaranteed to get is an honest game plan that will bring results. In the same way that Tim Duncan was blatantly overlooked and undervalued during his time while quietly bringing his team to victory time and time again, Gallagher was supposedly just another mid 4-star unit who we're finally starting to realize has been absolutely goated all along. As much as I'd like to believe otherwise, we aren't guaranteed to have Gallagher as an ever-reliable shoo-in no matter how much time passes. But what we've seen from this character has been so unexpectedly great that we've already gotten 10 times more than what we could have expected, no matter how optimistic we could have possibly been. Above all else, I am confident in saying that even if this game lasts another 20 years, we will never, ever see a 4-star character who comes close to Gallagher again. Oh yeah, did I mention that he's a 4-star? Thank you for watching. More Star Rail videos coming soon.
Anyway, $4 a pound.